9 minutes, 29 seconds. Take a moment to look at this timestamp. It's not quite 10 minutes, but it's close. It's short for a commute, for a walk or a bike ride, short for a film or an appointment, but it's a long song, a long time to not know where your child is. It's a long time to be in pain and distress, to feel fear. And it's a really long time to not be able to breathe. Those 9 minutes and 29 seconds, Derek Chauvin held his knee against George Floyd's neck, stopped the entire world in its tracks. Everyone who came across the footage stopped and stared. It spread like wildfire across social media, popping up without warning and showing a man slowly losing his life in one of the most shocking, disgusting, and horrifying ways anyone has ever seen. Even more harrowing was the display of police brutality and racism. A Black man pressed into the ground while a white police officer kneeled on his neck, squeezing the life from him as he cried over and over again that he couldn't breathe. As suddenly as the world stopped, it exploded. Protests erupted across the country and across the globe. People were marching for Black lives and calling for justice, reform, and healing. The scenes were fraught, and all of this while we were contending with the pandemic. Let's park there for just a moment. The year 2020 was marked by so many dynamics, issues, and concerns that many of us have never fully faced before and are still processing. The pandemic descended on us so suddenly and completely that we didn't even have a moment to think as we adjusted to a new normal. One week, we're gathering in buildings without masks, able to talk, hug, and be with our friends and family. And the next week, we were on lockdown, confined to our homes. People were panic buying toilet paper until it was scarce. We were sanitizing our groceries once we got home and shedding our clothes to immediately toss them in the washer. We were buying masks, desperate to secure enough for our households and loved ones. I guess what I'm saying is, in 2020, the world was marked by so much uncertainty and fear. Anxiety and exhaustion were at an all-time high. And then George Floyd was killed. In those 9 minutes, well, they felt more like 9 years. It had been a few months into this dynamic of lockdown and racial tension when my family and I decided we had to get out of the house. We'd been home every day, stuck between news about the virus and the racial unrest, and we needed a change of scenery to take some time away. So my wife and I piled the kids into the car and we went for a drive. We live near the foothills in Southern California, which means that in just 20 or 30 minutes, we can head up into the hills and find a breathtaking natural scene to enjoy. After a little while, we found just that. We pulled over in a little rest area where there was no one else around and got out, still wearing our mask, of course, to enjoy the view before us. A few minutes later, 2 police officers showed up, parked maybe 100 feet or so away from my family. They were just hanging out and chatting, so I didn't pay them much attention. A moment later, though, I noticed my 9-year-old son head back to the car and get into the back seat. Shortly after he left, my 13-year-old daughter headed to the car to check on her charging phone. I was keeping an eye on them, and all was quiet. When my daughter came back, I asked her what her brother was doing. What she said next stopped me cold. He's afraid of the police. I looked around to where the police were still standing and chatting, and then back to the car where my son was sitting, nestled in the back seat. I made my way over to him, opened the car door, and poked my head in. "Isaac, what are you doing?" I asked. "Nothing," he said. "Why are you sitting in here all alone?" I asked. "No reason," he said. "Are you okay? What's the matter?" I pressed. "Nothing," he said again. I gave it a moment, took a beat. "Son, what's going on?" I asked again. When he finally answered, he told me just what his sister had said. He was scared of the police. Why? I asked, absolutely taken aback. Because I could die.